Ever since the existence of humanity, meat has been a vital part of our diet. It provides numerous health benefits that enable us to perform our day to day activities. Primarily, meats contain protein. Like carbohydrates and fats, protein is one of the fundamental macronutrients that plays a critical role in virtually every biological process, serving as building blocks for body tissues, enzymes, hormones, and other essential molecules. The main source of protein in human diet comes from animals. Animals such as chicken, fish, and cattle are usually grown on a large and commercial scale to meet the consumer's demands and quickly generate profits. Currently, the annual global average meat consumption is approximately 35.6 kilograms per capita or per person, or a total of around 350 million tons every year. In the Philippines, the annual meat consumption is approximately 30.7 kilogram per capita. Pork is the most consumed meat in the Philippines, followed by chicken. It is expected that meat consumption will increase due to urbanization and increasing income. However, livestock and poultry farming greatly contribute to the rising concentrations of greenhouse gases, which will increase the average surface temperature of the Earth over time. This will lead to several phenomena like frequent and stronger typhoons and rising sea levels. Collectively, these phenomena are commonly called climate change. It is estimated that approximately 9 to 14% of global anthropogenic greenhouse gases emissions come from poultry and livestock farming. With this, mitigations like reducing consumption of meat are being encouraged to lower its demand, subsequently reducing carbon dioxide emissions. We talked with Marco Gallo, an actor and also a vegetarian. We asked about his journey in vegetarianism and its challenges.
My name is Marco Gallo. I'm 23 years old, and I've been a vegetarian for the past, I think, 2 years, um, probably more. Yeah, 2 years and a half actually. I'm about to be three, in August. It has been a while, and I've been loving it. I have never thought of doing the switch of becoming a vegetarian until I got into training around 2 years ago. um, I started working out religiously, and I was eating, the usual, a lot of chicken breasts, a lot of boiled eggs. And for some reason, get, I couldn't progress as much, or I would feel always so heavy with all the amount of protein that I was supposed to eat. And then there was a time that I watched Game Changers. I don't know if you know that show on Netflix that it came out. Um, it's super interesting. You should really check it out. There's so many different ones like Game Changers, What the Health, Cowspiracy, Seaspiracy. Um, but before that, I was pescatarian. So, because of my ex, she introduced me to being pescatarian, and I did it for a good 6 to 8 months. I'm not sure. And after that, I went to the States for vacation. I ate meat again because I wanted to try Chick-fil-A. And when I came back to the Philippines, I felt super sick because maybe of the meat, because I wasn't used to it anymore. So when I came back at that same time, I watched all of those documentaries, and to me, it was enlightening um, how over the years, for my whole life, or I guess since the 1960s, the government kind of um, the government kind of told the mass or told the people that eating meat would make you strong. That was such a stigma. Um, and it's crazy that that was just a whole marketing idea just for so that they could sell more meat. And or example, like milk will make your bones stronger. Like, sure, there is vitamin D, but it's also found in so many other things. And to me, the most enlightening thing that I found from that show, Game Changers, they explained it so well that anyone could understand it. Basically, okay, they say that we get most protein from meat, correct? But do cows and other animals eat meat? They don't. They basically eat grass, and they eat, um, you know, um, they're basically vegetarian. And so the way that they explained it is that the cows and the meat and the beef and whatever, they they're just the middleman of that source of protein. The first times it was hard because no one is stopping you from eating meat again. Like, or you could easily hide it and tell other people that you're vegetarian, but it's like, um I think the hardest part was the social side of it. Like, at first, my own friends, they were like not even really caring about it. They were joking about the fact, like saying, "Oh, kumain ka na lang, ano ba yan?" Like, they wouldn't be as supportive. But then when they saw that this was an ongoing thing for like a couple of months now, and I actually was thriving in it, it was surprising to me how even at work or everyone around me, they literally adjusted to me. So whenever we would go out, they would make sure that there would be something I could eat. And to me, that is beautiful. It's all about perspective. It's like, if you start telling people that you don't eat a certain thing, of course they won't be supportive at first of change, but then you'll be surprised on how supportive people can become around you. And it's still hard sometimes because, again, not every restaurant or place has a vegetarian option. But to me, I got kind of like used to it. And I got, if we're going to a restaurant that doesn't have a lot of vegetarian option, I would just order like garlic rice and eggs, just because that fills me in with the carbs and the protein. But I'm an exception. I can eat that every day. I don't know for other people. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a struggle here in the Philippines. I can't blame people if they can't find easy to switch to vegetarian option, because I'm really simple, I guess, in a way. I eat the same thing every day. It's always going to be granola with yogurt. It's always going to be the Vega packets. I don't know if you know the Vega packets. That has vegan nuggets, vegan hamburger. That has a good source of protein, and I've been sticking to that as well. There's other brands like On Meat. I like their tapa, or Beyond. Beyond is like class A of um, vegan meat, but it's like super expensive. Like, I think for 500 grams of meat, which is a packet like this, it's already like 800 pesos. So obviously, it's not affordable to every. I don't even buy that unless I really crave it. Um, but yeah, again, if you are disciplined enough, you can see a change in your body really quickly. And it's all up to why are you doing it. And also, it does play a big factor in which country you live in.
Foodflow is a pioneering company that produces dry and frozen plant-based meat analogs and meat replacers. Foodflow's pioneering technology and innovative products enable them to deliver outstanding value to customers and stakeholders. To further know about their innovations in plant-based proteins, we spoke with Dr. Patricia Azanza, a retired professor in UP Diliman and also the consultant of Foodflow for plant-based proteins.
Ang plant-based protein namin is we have several SKUs. When we started the business, we were given the machine. and it's a second-hand machine, an extruder machine. And then we were given one formulation, and from that one formulation, we were able to create several SKUs, which I think Chowking is now privy to. Our expertise is based on our rapid customization based on client needs and the utilization of up-and-coming ingredients, agricultural input. Because the extrusion science is not well developed worldwide, and it's based on the practice, industry practice of so many, and or government practice, kasi na-expose din ako sa isang expert sa extrusion from Australia. But his expertise originally was into artillery ng Australian government, but he moved on into pet food as well as food, and he's teaching worldwide, and so that's it. Walang talagang we started with one formulation and one refurbished machine, and then a second refurbished machine, and then after which we bought a new machine, and then we were able to, from scratch, from a carcass of an old machine, we are now able to prepare a working machine to include in our operation. So it's a lot of luck. It's a lot of science. I think we are lucky because I'm teaching food science and nutrition, but I also have a penchant for machineries. So coming from a family of quite a number of engineers, so I have exposure to machineries from childhood. So and Mr. Chu is also an engineer. So we are able to create several SKUs, and the portfolio is so much. I think the very viable SKUs right now in the market is more than 30 and up and increasing. And our market is not only in the Philippines. We have also a big market abroad, US and Southeast Asia, as well as Europe.
You're currently exporting din po pala, no?
We are. In fact, we increased our export visibility in Europe and the US during the COVID time, because we were able to amazingly, we were able to develop machinery peripherals during the COVID time. I was here in UP, and engineers are in the people in Suca, in Santa Rosa, and through Zoom, a number of computers open. We developed there are several protein-containing agricultural input that can be used. Since 1930s, soya was the number one. In fact, historically, they allowed in the US the incorporation of soya as much as 10 to 30% in meat blends. Allowed ito, and then gradually they started with the flour, and then concentrates, and then isolates, with increasing protein content. With the flour is around 50-55 protein content. I think soya would have cysteine and hindi ko na matandaan, methionine and or cysteine, and then these are sulfur-containing compounds. Cysteine is a very, very important fiber folding component of a protein that is extruded, because of its configuration, it has the ability to fold, and as such create the necessary fiber creation. Wheat also is there, but wheat produces a very weak strand, if I look at the fibrosity, I create the stronger longitudinal fiber using soya, but I create the branching, refined fibers that is lateral from wheat. Essentially, this is the base material for all plant-based. Actually, ang plant-based started with TBP, textured vegetable protein, but they were using these are not the high quality material. We are now analogs. The difference between our product and what is TBP is that you have the beanie taste and you have less texture with textured vegetable protein. But when you, or TBP, but when you use the meat analogs that is created right now, which is entirely different in terms, ang genre niya ay iba. Kasi you play around with the texture, with the strands, and even the taste. I think if you are familiar, Marvin, with what we just sent you, my Turacon S Plus do not have the taste, and everyone is going crazy about it. That is my latest innovation in plant-based exudate, and I think that in the Philippine industry is going excited about it. Not only your line, but other lines as well. We're getting a lot of reaction, and these are the product of, and I am proud of it. This is the outcome of being both a person of the industry and a person of the university as food science and technology major.
Yeah. Actually, nasagot niyo na yung next question kayo. Ano ko sana, Doc, na what are the innovations? And I think doon na kayo pumunta. So,
we are
Doc,
now our next line of creation for improvement, for sustainability of the business of low moisture, and even we will go even to high moisture extrusion, is that I am now looking into the creation of machineries. We do not have machineries here, but we have the brilliance of our engineers here na hindi lang natatap. And I look for, I have now a project with DOST. Ang magiging recipient ng technology is food flow pa rin. This is the concentration of proteins in our legumes. I'm working first with mung beans. Nagpatanim na kami sa Ilocos, nagpatanim na kami sa Cagayan, sa Pangasinan, and sa Cagayan. And we're harvesting we just harvested our beans, and then ipadadala. In the meantime, we are looking at concentration of the proteins, because a flour would only contain around 50. Ang mung bean is nasa 20-30% lang yan. Kailangan i-concentrate yan. So, i-concentrate namin to around 40 to 50. There was an offer by a UK person that we should use another technology for harvesting the protein using the technology that is used for another machinery, yung vacuum, yung electrostatic collection of ions, and this can be done, which is actually the technology used for vacuum cleaner. Pag nagko-collect siya ng dust, electrostatic yun eh. There was an offer for me. Ay, sabi ko, ayoko na nang, matanda na ako, hindi ko na gagawin yan. I will concentrate the proteins perhaps at 50 to 60, and that's it. I will let the other people do it, because if I involve myself in the electrostatic technology coupled with air classification, it would be, baka 90 na ako, 100 na ako, hindi pa ako humihinto. So but there was this offer, and sabi sa akin ng isang tiga UK, we can get money from UK, but we partner. Sabi ko, teka muna, tagilid ng Pilipinas niya. Anin ko yung pera niyo, but I can get money from the OSC dito sa Pilipinas. And I would retain the technology. So we are now slowly working with machineries, concentration of protein, sustainable ito kasi physical, hindi ito chemical, hindi water-based, hindi chemical-based concentration of the protein, which is ang carbon footprint masyadong mataas. So I'm working with the College of Engineering, mechanical engineer, si Dr. Dewitt. Is a very young scientist. He would go with us sa Germany to look at sample machineries, then gather all public domain information related to air classification, create a machine, and then do trials here, create a prototype machine. Food Flow would take that, magbe-venture na kunin ang technology ng Food Flow. And I said, Mr. Chu, are you getting that technology? Sabi niya, yes, for the sake of the country having its own agricultural supply. And then we work with we can work with rice, we can work with so many. And so the product that we have, they said, my God, we are out of business because of this new innovation in the Philippines. That product, we released it 2009, 2010, and it's still a blockbuster product being marketed by ang kanyang technology was created during that time, but the supply chain for it was also created by the company. So merong need ang dalawa eh. Minsan nag-create ako ng product or kami ni Sir ng product for the industry, and we tell them you need this. So dalawa ang drivers namin. We create new products based on the concept of the company, and we also ask the industry what they need and we create products. So dalawa ang drivers namin. Pareho lang ang balanse niyan. Parehong-pareho. Kasi minsan hindi alam ng industriya what can be done for them. And sa paglalaro namin ng produkto sa laboratorio, nakikita namin that this, one of my product was when I created a product na masyadong mataas ang protein, halos sumabog ang makina sa akin. And I was saying, stop the machine. But I said, wait, just lower down the pressure, lower down the torque. I think we have a new product here. And it was really a new product. And that is one major SKU of our line. So, ang drivers niya balance the need of the industry as well as the creative mind of the R&D of Food Flow. We create products sometimes na hindi hinihingi ng kliyente, and we introduce them at sinasabi namin kailangan nyo ito. But at the same time, we also hear them out. Yung kanila ay, kasi minsan hindi nila nakikita yung potential ng produkto. So we create that. Either as a processed ingredient or in its application. Hindi minsan nakikita yun eh. Paano ba? There was once I created a sisig that utilized several types of my extrudate, all plant-based, but you have the taste of sisig. 100%. Pati ang kanyang flavor is plant-based. But kung titingnan mo, may show meat ako, may show fat ako, and several cuts. And pag minarket mo yon, lulusot yun. Fully loaded pizza, kaya rin namin create na hindi mo mararamdaman na So, yung drive na yon na nagagawa namin. But nagkikinig rin kami sa industriya. Pero ang industriya, pag sinabi nila, ma'am, gusto namin ito, pero kailangan ng price ganito. Ang labanan lagi sa industriya yung presyo eh. Okay naman yon. Pinupush din kami ng industriya towards that. So I am happy enough to develop new ingredients, functional ingredients in the composition of the formulation because of ang driver namin industry. Meron din naman yung mga ingredient suppliers, sasabihin nila, meron kaming bagong dagong ingredient, gamitin nyo. And just yesterday, I was looking at, meron palang, naglalabas pala ng tapioca starch, tapioca fibers, tapioca this and that. But gamitin ko kaya? Hindi, titingnan ko pa. Those are things na minsan pag nagbabasa ka ng journal, nakikita mo yun. Mga journal articles are also may refuge in pag nag-i-enjoy ka ng nagbabasa at nakikita mo pwedeng gamitin. Clean label kasi, naghahanap ako ng for clean label. So, we have already a non-allergenic composition na meron ng nag-i-interest sa abroad for children's food.
Continuous food innovations in plant-based proteins from companies like Foodflow will play a crucial part in promoting personal health, protecting the environment, and fighting climate change. From an environmental perspective, promoting plant-based diets are significantly less resource-intensive than diets high in animal products. By reducing the demand for meat, we can lower carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide emissions, preserve forests, and conserve water. This shift can also alleviate the pressure on arable land, allowing for more sustainable and diverse agricultural practices. By replacing actual meats with plant-based proteins, vegetarians like Marco will be more encouraged to continue this lifestyle. Making plant-based proteins more accessible to people will be a meaningful step toward enhancing individual health, protecting the environment, and fostering a sustainable future for generations to come.